just, I think our kids are really excited about making this trip. So many of our kids are from a region of the country that doesn't allow them to get to the West Coast very often. And of course, the two kids we have on the roster from Southern California right now get to go back home and play in front of their friends and relatives, which I think is really neat for those guys. We also have players that we've recruited and possible commitment guys that are on the West Coast as well, and that's an opportunity for those guys to see us play. We have a ton of contacts in Southern California in terms of recruiting, and because it's March 1, it allows us to do some things on the road recruiting. So, I think it's going to be a really beneficial trip for us, but we have to treat it as a business trip, and we have to do everything we can to win 3 games against really, really good baseball teams. So we've watched a ton of video on these guys. We have a ton more that we're going to look at, but there's no question these are really talented clubs.
Talking to Jack, he said that y'all are going to eat with him at his house tomorrow.
Yeah.
The team. How cool do you think it is for him for his team to meet his family?
Well, just by looking at the pictures of his house, I think it's pretty cool to live in Calabasas, California, which is kind of right in the center, right between Hollywood and what's the other little beach town there. Anyway, it's pretty neat. I think our kids are really going to enjoy that, and it's got to be great for Jack's parents. He's 2,000 miles away from home, and he not only does he get to come home, he gets to bring his whole team home with him. So we're really looking forward to that, and it's just such a nice thing for the Krugers to do for our ball club.
Do you feel like you get a boost from having guys like Gavin and Kruger in the lineup, knowing what kind of style of pitching they're going to be facing, that kind of style of the West Coast?
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I think all that's overrated. In terms of style, West Coast, I think we play a lot like Southern California teams do right now. We play in a big ballpark. We do everything we can to promote pitching and defense. And obviously everybody wants to score. It's difficult to score in our ballpark because of the nature of what's happened with bats and balls in recent years. College baseball numbers are down in terms of scoring. So I think everybody really plays a little bit more of a, what's called a West Coast style of college baseball. But, I think baseball is baseball, and I think that's one of the great things about our kids having super experiences in the summer, traveling to the Cape Cod League. And, we had 4 kids last year playing in California. I think they realize that baseball is baseball when you play with those guys and realize that they're just like you are.
And playing teams like UCLA, USC, and Oklahoma, how much better will you think the identity of this team after this weekend?
We'll get clues to that every single time. I'll tell you, after playing, Alcorn last night, I found out a lot about our team because our team was really focused. It would have been really easy for our kids to look past that, but they competed against the weather, they competed against the game itself, and they competed against another team in another dugout without looking past that, and I'm really proud of our kids. So every time we go out there in practice or in games, I think we find out more about our kids. But you're right, when you play against this level of competition, you're going to take those steps. You're going to find out a lot about your team.
How big are these recruiting trips? Are trips like this for recruiting? This trip, the one to Arizona, and the one to Hawaii a few years ago. How big a tool is that?
I think they're important in terms of recruiting, but to be perfectly honest with you, my father always said, don't trust anybody who says that statement of, to be honest with you. that tends to take you in the direction they're not being honest all the other times. But I will say the best recruiting trips are when we get kids from different parts of the country here in Starkville versus us going to their part of the world. I think one of the unique things about college baseball recruiting is that all of the really talented kids end up in one place, and that's usually Atlanta, Georgia. So you're going to get a chance to see those guys compete when they're on the road in a different environment. But getting them here on this campus and having them see what Mississippi State's all about is the biggest thing in recruiting that we do.
Just one game on Sunday, but how big is it for 18, 19, 20-year-old kids to get to play in a big league ballpark?
It's big. I think our kids will be really excited about that opportunity, and you know what's crazy is I think we're gonna have 11 o'clock start. That's a 9 a.m. start. I'm sorry, that's a 1 o'clock start on our end. But everything in terms of the timing is a little bit different for our kids. So we're gonna get in tonight really late. So I think we'll get to the hotel at 12:30 their time, which will be about 2:30 our time here. So yeah, I mean, our kids will have to adjust really quickly. You know, it's not like professional baseball. Those guys do this all the time. They're older. They understand that. For some of our kids, I would say a majority of our kids, they've never been in this time zone. So we're going to treat everything, again, like a business trip and do things our way and get acclimated.
Cody Brown got the start last night. Where do you see him kind of factoring in with all the depth that you have in the outfield and the fact that when he comes to the game, he seems to be able to make plays?
Yeah, Cody's one of those guys who makes the most of his opportunities, and he works extremely hard, and he's a leader on our club, and he's going to be a difference maker. I don't think we can do everything we want to do this year without Cody contributing in a big way to our ball club.
How anxious are you to see the starting pitching get out there for another weekend?
I think it's really exciting. The difficult thing for us is we got to pare it down, and we have to create 3 starters, and we're going to probably make that decision either tonight or tomorrow as to what 3 starters that'll be. You know, Dakota will go on Friday night for sure. The Saturday thing's a little bit different because of who we're playing and the fact that we're not playing a doubleheader. So we'll make those decisions, but I think it's exciting. I think these guys welcome this challenge. And again, coming off the summer that these kids, all of these starting pitchers have had, playing against some of the best teams and the best kids in the country, I think they're really looking forward to it.
With the 4 different teams and then playing at Dodger Stadium, what kind of went into planning an event kind of like this from your
Well,
perspective?
we really didn't plan any of it. You know, this is something that John Savage put together at UCLA, and he invited us, and I thought it was a great opportunity for our kids. And I think it's I love the tournament format. It's got kind of a regional feel to it. What's different than a regional? Normal regional is that you're playing in one site in a regional, and here we're playing 3 sites in 3 days. So that'll be different for our kids. But again, I think it's a great experience, and I think it makes our club better. Win, lose, or draw, I think it makes our kids better. And the focus is to try and win every single game. But every one of these experiences really comes into play as you get deeper into your season. So I think this will really pay dividends for us.
Kind of off the beaten track here with not really a baseball so much question, but you had a long relationship with Scott Strickland and things, and he had a big honor today, was Athletic Director of the Year name or something like that. But what's made him so good at his post?
Well, when you talk about Scott Strickland, you know, I remember when he became the athletic director here. I remember when he came to Kentucky when I was there. He's just smart, and it's hard to teach smart. It's hard to teach, you know, understanding, having just an intuitive understanding of collegiate athletics, and he's got that. Scott makes really good decisions. Every time we have a discussion, I feel like I learn something from him, and I think he's one of the smartest, if not the smartest athletic director in America, and I think we're really fortunate to have him here at Mississippi State.